Yes, yes, yes. It's Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio, with another one. And today we're talking about Barbershop Conversations failed pull-up on Andreward and his emotional breakdown since that event. Okay, this is my analysis. I've looked deep into it, and there's more to it than it seems in my assessment. Now, Fred, Mr. Barbershop himself, likes to give the impression that he views this as a racial issue. It's a racial matter. But I'm not buying it. And here's why. Fred is married to a white woman, or is she Hispanic? So I actually don't think Fred is particularly racial. I think it's something much different than that. Here goes. Fred and his fraternity is involved in almost a war. It's a war. It's like a financial war. You see, Fred is invested in an American heavyweight champion. It didn't matter before Joshua came to prominence. Wilder was just a guy fighting here and there, low-ranked opponents for $1 million or $2 million if he was lucky. The WBC would rise up in the rankings. Anyone, his handlers, his managers, promoters, saw fit for him to fight. These individuals were invariably, for the most part, low-ranking opposition. The WBC would then miraculously raise them up into the top 10 all of a sudden, because they were scheduled to fight Wilder. This was a pattern of behavior which has lasted to this day. To this day. Romain Stavern didn't fight for something like 2 years, but yet, because he was Wilder's mandatory, they kept him up there in the rankings. How can a man who hasn't fought for 2 years remain in the WBC top 10? Answer me that. Okay, but it happened because he was Wilder's mandatory. See how convenient that was? See how convenient that is? Okay. That is the reality of the WBC's relationship with Wilder. But like I say, back in the day, it didn't matter. He was the champ. Klitschko was the champ. He had no interest in Klitschko, so he would make $1 million here, $1 million there. And then came Anthonyjoshua. And then Wilder came to London. And then He saw 90,000 people in a stadium for a heavyweight title clash. And from that day forward, everything changed. Wilder's eyes grew wide, and he wanted what Joshua had. These guys, Fred's fraternity, got on board with the quest and became ardent Anthony Joshua haters to this day. And the reason is because they want Wilder, the American, as the preeminent man in boxing. Even though he showed no ambition, even though he was fighting low-ranked opponents, he wants what Joshua's got. And Fred wants it for him. So, Andre Ward is merely collateral damage. Andre Ward sending a simple tweet saying that he doesn't think that Wilder will relish a rematch with Fury. That's all he did. He expressed a view shared by many, and Fred and co reacted badly, particularly Fred. Took it to heart, took it personally. Tried to go in on Andre Ward. Pulled up on him. See my video from yesterday. And thought that the warrior, Andre Ward, would cower. And that was Fred's mistake. You see, Ward is a warrior, in and out of the ring. And an intelligent one at that. So when Fred tried to pull up on Ward and said that he was somehow not protecting, respecting his culture, he had nothing to do with race, primarily. That wasn't the primary thing. The primary thing was that Ward failed to promote Wilder against Anthony Joshua. Ward did not stick to Fred's code of pretending that Wilder is the preeminent one. Ward spoke the truth. And Fred just couldn't, that wasn't good enough for Fred. That wasn't good enough for Fred. Not only did Ward speak the truth, but he also demolished Fred's weak and lame argument that Ward is black. He should stick with the black fighter. What a crock. Ward's only obligation was to speak the truth, and that's what he did. Now, let's wrap this up. Let's get back to Fred. So, Fred's issue is that he believes he failed Wilder. He failed to hold him up as the preeminent one, which he is not. Ward spoke the truth. He said he didn't feel Wilder would relish a rematch with Fury. That's just the truth. It's nothing to do with race. Fred coming out with this fake race narrative, no. It's a Wilder supporter narrative that he's really pushing. And that is the bottom line. Wilder just is not good enough to be what Fred wants him to be. Not yet. He hasn't shown that. It's for low-ranking opponents. hyped up opponents, hyped by the WBC. Fred wants to make it look like something to do with race. It's nothing to do with race. It's about projecting Wilder as something that he is not. And Ward failed to stay on Fred's code and demolish Fred's argument. And now Fred's emotional. Now Fred is spinning out of control in an emotional daze. And that, my friends, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the truth. Nothing to do with race. It's about promoting what Fury calls the big Dosser Wilder. It's Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio. Like, subscribe, share, and comment.